FM presents Not So Fair. Now your hosts, Tony, Tio, Corey, and Big E.
Part 2 of the program brought to you by Audible.com and by Amazon.com. If you missed Part 1, we talked LeBron James, the Cavaliers. We talked UFC, the $4.2 billion sale. And in this part, we've got some, it's just time to have some fun.
Finally.
Biggie.
TV time.
And we're back. Is this thing on? Check.
Battle
Hey there, Biggie.
of the Bastards.
Oh, we're getting into that already?
I got to go because I'm going to make this plea to these two because Tio has started to watch Game of Thrones. He's on episode 1 for the 4th, 5th, 6th straight week.
He's doing pretty good.
So
Getting there.
by 2030, he'll have completed this
2030,
series.
he'll be on season 4.
Corey won't have anything to do with it at all.
Good call.
Oh, in 2030, he'll be like, goddamn, Joffrey's a prick.
Yes. Yeah. I wish this Joffrey would die.
This show's done in the next 2 years. Go
That's
ahead.
true. That is actually
Not
true.
for the reasons you think, but
There's
yes.
only 2 more seasons.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck me running. I thought it was. I
based
just
off
figured it'd be
books.
over. Oh.
What, canceled? Oh, it's just going to cancel the biggest show on TV.
I got
Walking Dead, you're next.
I got pissed about. A gal was telling me, she's like, "Oh, I saw it was American Sniper or something." She's like, "You got to read the book." I thought,
No.
son of a bitch. Not gonna do it.
Nah.
You're not going to watch it all.
Not gonna
I'm telling
do
you,
it.
Corey, this is the best 60 minutes of dramatic television in the history of television.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Bunch
started
of
out
people
cool.
staring and looking off into the distance.
Not this episode.
Not this episode.
It starts off with 3 dragons fucking just laying waste to a fleet of ships. It was cool. Oh, laugh if you want.
I will not.
You will smirk like you're going to. LeBron could eat a dick, so could fucking Cleveland. There, I said it.
Imagine if LeBron James
Never
made
coming
a
back.
special episode of Game of Thrones.
It'd be
man.
awesome because he'd probably be a Dothraki.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, it started out with the fucking ships getting blowed up, and then they moved to the actual Battle of the Bastards, which was pretty cool. Giants and shit.
A coworker was just telling me there's some comparisons of Jon Snow to LeBron James. What would that be, Tony?
Did LeBron die and come back recently?
Was he a part of the Battle of the Bastards?
No.
I mean, LeBron was pretty much all but dead, down 3-1 to the best team
That's so
ever.
fucking weak.
Okay.
Peak
So anyway,
client.
go ahead.
He's Jesus Christ.
I was just trying to
That's
mess
a bad
with you.
analogy, but
Yeah, it was,
I see where you're going.
it was on a website.
Jon
somewhere.
Snow was all but dead, and he had a nice little
Nice
rally back. Nice little rally
Season
back.
5, Episode 4.
All right, so let's get. I want to hear the breakdown. Let's
All
do
right,
it. Let's do it.
For this reason,
'Kay.
I think you will enjoy this show.
Come on, Ian.
One of the greatest heels ever.
You don't need to sell me on this. I
Put
just want
on
to hear what
TV.
happened this episode.
Bolton Ramsey stole
Bolton, but,
the show. Ramsey Bolton? Bolton Ramsey. Which
Hey,
one is it?
he was in a phone book. Fuck him.
Formerly
Yeah.
Ramsey Snow. He got
Yeah.
turned from a bastard into that's
into
why
a
it's
legitimate.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but okay.
The king did it for his thank you.
Okay. All right. So the two of the big guys are finally squaring off. Mano a
One of the
mano.
worst people in history is one of the guys. Like he tortures this girl because she's like the legitimate heir to the North. Fuck you, Corey. She's a legitimate heir to the North.
The Dothraki or the blonde gal.
No, the redhead. She's a redhead.
Okay.
Any which way.
She's a Stark.
okay,
Sansa Stark,
okay.
the redhead. I've lost my fucking train of thought. Let's see.
Trying to do this
he's-
with
he's the
Corey
worst
is
guy ever.
impossible.
So he
Corey
tortured this
might be,
girl from anything from more or less raping her to let the dogs have a turn on her to at the end of the episode after they win, their team wins the Battle of the Bastards. They've got him tied up basically in the kennels. He got the shit beat out of him just because he's a jack off and deserved it. So he's sitting there on this chair all bloodied. She comes sauntering in like, fuck you. It's finally your turn to die. And he's
Your
like, "You're not
name's going to disappear.
Right, nobody
Your
will ever
memory's
remember
going to
you."
disappear.
As he's about ready to die. I mean, as he's
Cold-blooded.
Well,
Okay.
he thinks they're just going to kill him, right? And he's kind of being a dick about, you're not going to kill me. You're connected with me. She's like, you're right. And you hear like some whining, and this dude's dogs, they're hunting dogs that he uses for the worst purposes. And early in the episode, he said he'd made it a point not to feed him for 7 days so they can eat the fucking corpses of all the people he kills. Well, she lets him down there with him, and he's all bloody. And they tear him apart.
and he died. Did he die?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
killed him.
Oh,
Started
yeah.
with his face.
Oh wow.
Bit his face clean off. The battle scene, the best I've ever seen. It trumps anything in Star Wars.
There's nothing like seeing a giant run through and just mow people down while taking 80 arrows.
Whoa. Trumps anything in Star Wars?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Star Wars has got to raise the bar.
I take issue with that, sir.
You can go ahead. Yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan. He's a Star Wars fan. T.O.
Corey's
not a Star Wars
Corey's
fan.
not either.
The Battle of
Corey-
Geonosia was pretty fucking
Corey
tight.
was being a smartass, and you
to be-
didn't pick up on it.
Yeah. If it's good pop culture, we can count on you two to probably not know anything about it.
If it's sci-fi at least, or fantasy.
So what? So where does it go now? What's next? I mean, like, there's the big battle.
Well, there's one more episode left this season.
Okay.
There's only two. There's the two big storylines. Three actually that anybody cares about. There's Daenerys, the blonde Dothraki bitch. You know.
Yep.
Daenerys Targaryen.
That's
Close enough.
See, I remember.
Beer Guttigan. She's gonna have to go back to the Westeros, which is where she comes from, so she can take it over. That's got to start now.
Well, we're going to get lesbian queen sex coming up. Is
That'll
what
be
we're going to
neat.
get.
That will be neat.
Because all the women are coming to the forefront, and two of the big ones cut a deal.
Is it the chick from the video clip you showed me?
What video clip?
The naked woman walking down the stairs.
The shamed
No,
lady.
No, shame. No,
Shame.
it's not her.
That was pretty crazy.
It's not
Shame.
her. It's another one that
The other stuff we got going on is the White Walkers got to get to the wall. They either got to destroy it the next episode or be ready to destroy it.
Yes.
Because that's got to set up the end game for the whole fucking show, basically, where everybody gets together and fights the zombies.
Yeah.
And then there's Bran.
Whoa! Walking Dead's crossed over into this now.
This thing has everything.
They've got like ice zombies, more or
Oh,
less.
yeah, I saw those in the very first episode.
Yeah, well, they're
There you
still
go.
a big deal.
They're still there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting ready to come south of the wall and take shit
Now,
out.
hadn't they? Someone was saying that they had not came back. Like they were in the first episode, and then
They're
never
it's very
again.
rare-
Really?
No. They're
Oh, okay.
A couple times a season, you'll see something about.
But they
it.
are kinda
They're
as if-
looming the whole
Like,
time.
does your job depend on this? Because you're so full of shit, you're not watching this at all.
I've
I
watched-
know you're
I've
not.
watched the first episode. That's
You
it.
probably didn't even watch that.
Oh, I did.
Well, no, it was on in a room that he was in while he texted on his phone. Yes,
so
that
no-
part
like
is
anything.
true.
No texting. No,
Watch
I
all TV.
I watched
Yeah.
the first episode like through.
Sure.
Asked a bunch of questions, so that's how I knew about the White Walkers. But I thought they said that the White Walkers had appeared then and then hadn't really been shown on
There's
camera.
been some really cool scenes with the White Walkers.
Okay, I misunderstood. Then.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
If you had watched, you'd known.
That's where we're at.
I watched one episode, dickhead. I'm not saying I've watched more than
saying,
that.
if you'd
I watched
watched,
the
yeah.
first episode.
Penis mouth.
Yeah, I mean, when I suggest a show, you guys don't watch it. When you guys suggest a show, I go and watch it, and I find myself highly entertained, and I appreciate it.
I don't. I don't take suggestions.
So what's your guys' what do you
Not
think's
safe.
going to happen, Tone?
I
like,
agree.
Where do you go with this?
It's I mean, you got everyone who's playing the game. It's all the ladies right now.
Yeah, it looks like the next episode's mostly going to be King's Landing type shit.
Yeah, it's all the ladies. I mean, you got
this whole show is going to end up being about women empowerment.
That's been a thing people have said the whole time. It's a theme about strong women, more or less.
Yeah, there is that. I still think someone winds up on the throne who wasn't totally playing the game. You're a little guy, the Peter Dinklage guy. I know you don't. I know you have
Oh.
a fear of the little people, but
Triple H.
trust me, he was good. You got to appreciate. There were some scenes were so kick ass. They go to this thing where they're going to negotiate the surrender.
Oh, that was cool.
And the people are like, okay, here's our terms. And Daenerys goes, I think you misunderstood. We're not here to negotiate my surrender. We're here to negotiate your surrender.
Oh, did a little fucking turnaround.
little switcheroo there, Corey.
Turnaround's
What was
fair
better in
play
that
there,
same
buddy.
scene after she goes out and destroys all their ships, well, most of their ships with her
No, she
dragons.
destroyed one to show
Well, a
that
few
she
of
could
them, right.
smoke the whole fleet.
Right, then she takes the whole fleet afterwards.
Yeah.
But after she's
Her
out there
or the
riding
dragon?
Well, she's riding the
She
dragon.
rides. She controls
She
the
rides
dragons.
a dragon. Corey, she rides a dragon.
Corey just had a migraine or an aneurysm.
We've lost him. But anyway,
Look
they're,
at
they're
Corey.
talking to the masters, is what they call these guys afterwards, after they see what happens. And they say, we've decided that one of you have to die. So they throw out the lowborn guy. He's not one of us. Kill him. So he drops to his knees, begs for his life. Whoop, the two guys who were like assholes,
I'm next.
throats cut. It was great. They just dropped
And
him
once
there.
it
One
was a
swipe.
kick-ass scene.
So let me ask this: the thing that one of the most gruesome things I've seen on TV, just like your basic TV, was Opie getting his head smashed in.
Oh, that's
on-
nothing.
Oh,
There was a scene
Sons
in
of
season
Anarchy.
4 where these two guys were fighting. It was the Mountain versus the Viper, they called it. This guy
You get that,
grabbed this
Corey?
dude
The
by
mountain
head,
versus the viper.
smashes his head on the ground a few times, stuffs his thumbs in his eyes. You can see this whole thing happening. Shoves his thumbs in his eyes and crushes his fucking head.
And then pops it open like a grape.
Wow.
I should have heard the guy screaming. It was crazy.
That's kind of cool.
I feel his pain.
The effect.
He just took 2 Advil and was fine.
The effects are the battle scene in this ending. It's
was
as
cool.
good as anything
So
ever filmed.
how do they film this? Is it?
I gotta go.
CGI, or is it-
Cameras.
I gotta go watch a thing that I sent E. But generally, what they do is cameras. E's correct. I sent you a link to how they did the cinematography on the end. I got to go watch it myself because I had to go watch it again.
Where do they film at?
E? Do you know?
England, Scotland, like
Okay,
over
so
in the UK,
you're-
Iceland.
okay.
Yeah.
I think Northern Ireland's also it's that. But they
Most of them are
they
English.
they said they say they almost injured Kit Harington severely in the one of the scenes because of the horses.
I don't know. I didn't.
They literally ran the horses at
that
each
watch
other.
that behind the scenes.
Is that the
kills
picture?
magic, man.
Is that the picture from A League of Their Own? Kit what?
Oh, Kit. Yeah. What was her sister? Dottie.
Dottie
Henson.
Dottie Henson?
which
Close.
in a strange turn of events is now a primetime player on Orange is the New Black.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Dottie. Oh yeah, Lori
Yep.
Petty.
Lori Petty.
So
Orange.
I was thinking that Gina Davis.
Lauren
was
Hutton?
Not her. She's got the gap in the teeth. This is just Lori Petty, the kid's sister. You know.
We did have a so we're in Omaha this weekend, and Tony decides that this waitress looks like the girl from Orange is the New Black.
That's right. She looks like
And-
she did look like
Hold on, though.
Kentucky.
We have this conversation of
Pennsatucky.
should we tell this lady or not?
But she looks like Pennsatucky.
Tony leaves us on the phone, and we met these 2 guys that were watching the basketball game with us that were sitting there.
Yeah.
And he decides to just grab Tony's phone and goes, "Hey, we think you look like her." And it wasn't really a compliment because,
God damn.
yeah, it was quite.
We
funny.
found a nice picture of Pennsatucky.
Nice picture. It's still horrible.
It was hard to find.
Was it from Sons of Anarchy?
It was like her on a red carpet
Was it for her
somewhere.
from Sons of Anarchy? Because she didn't look too bad in that.
First
No,
time in
she had
public,
sons.
Tony?
She was the chick that was banging Clay on the side. That
Oh, wow.
the young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I did not know that.
yeah.
Completely
Good call.
forgot about that, E.
Good call.
I'm real good catching actors and different stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Completely forgot about that. Okay. Who is where in OJ Made in America?
First episode.
I am
I finished
nowhere.
the first.
No. You're farther than that.
I haven't watched it. I've caught bits and pieces. Like
Okay.
when I stopped in your room the other night, I
Yeah.
watched a little bit of that, but I have not watched it.
You've seen
full
quite a
through.
lot then. You saw some of the meat. Corey, are you watching?
I was hesitant when we talked about it. Man, it was fucking good.
E.
Blows away what FX did.
And what FX did as the dramatic reenactment was
Just-
seriously good.
Why do we need 2 stories of OJ?
That's what I thought.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, come on,
But
this
you were
is
wrong?
Just, this
Yep.
is just
We
rehashing.
needed it.
So did you watch
No,
it?
you do need it, E. And,
Yep.
and I think Corey is going to agree why. This, at some point, becomes less about OJ and more about the state of American culture and history. And OJ just happens to be the vehicle that you're getting this history lesson delivered to you through.
They had people on there that were black that even crucified him for being, because the culture at the time of what was going on out in LA, they had murders, they treated
African Americans like second-class citizens.
Oh,
There's no
there was
question
the
about it. They intimidated
King.
them.
I mean,
and it goes beyond Rodney King.
They-
Rodney King is like the crucible that lit the fire.
Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
But they showed everything that led up to that and why this was like the bomb that exploded.
You know what's crazy? Like, so what we were watching, the part I watched with Tony, like, you go back and you listen to what NWA rapped about, and
dead on the money.
Did anybody see the movie?
Yes.
Like,
Straight out. I love Straight Out.
Paul
Compton.
Giamatti.
you watch
Name
some
the
of
one
this.
white guy from the movie.
You watch it, and like
Pig vomit.
you see
Pig
this
vomit.
Big vomit was. That's true.
you see this stuff, and it's like they
You
were
goddamn
they were
motherfuckers.
just talking about what they were seeing every day.
Dre, who was writing the most of the time? Dre
and Cube, I
and
believe.
Cube. They're writing just
And
their
probably,
everyday
I
experience.
bet they all. I'm sure Easy wrote.
And
something.
then, and there
Yellow.
was more rapping that was going on, but they
Sure.
got into, everybody rallied around OJ, this is bullshit. They probably framed him. And dude, Furman fucked that up so bad that he just ruined everything.
Everything.
I mean,
And not only ruined everything, he ruined everything and then ruined it in the context of what they were already in.
Oh.
And it was a
Just
perfect storm.
a disgusting human being.
A perfect
like,
storm of bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm still confused after finishing this. And there's a lot to get to here. You're gonna love. You got the background of part 1.
Yep.
So you really now understand sort of the OJ context because that happens before you guys are born. And I only remember that as a kid. When you get through 2, 3, and 4, which really are the crime and then the trial, right? You're like, holy smoke! If OJ isn't rich, he's definitely going to jail because there's no way. There's no way any other defense team is going to win this over.
No.
If the trial is held anywhere but in the city of Los Angeles, if they move venue to another location in Los Angeles County, the prosecution wins and they get the conviction.
And that's what happened with the civil trial.
In the civil trial, they moved it to where? Santa Monica?
Santa Monica.
Okay.
But
What you learned, though, Corey, what you learned that I had no idea about. At one point, T.O., when they do the chase and he goes home, you know, as he was sitting in the car, they had snipers on him.
In case he tried to run?
In case he tried
just shoot him.
anything. They were waiting.
This is just OJ. We're not talking about like an ex-Navy SEAL.
Yeah, well,
here.
they,
Right.
No,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
talking about a murderer, and they wanted him, and they thought he was going to come out
What would
shooting.
you fucking do? I mean, he's just the juice.
But they talk about the police were there. They have all these people on him. They've got people in the house. They've got everything. And it was basically, don't fuck this up. Like, don't shoot him. Don't ruin this whole thing. Or it was going to start another riot without a trial, without anything.
So-
if they would have fucked that up,
Powder keg. Los Angeles goes
oh my
up
God.
in absolute anarchy.
So going to Furman real quick.
Sure.
The part that I saw was about the book that he was loosely. It was the the book that wasn't really the truth, but you know there was some truth to it, but a lot of it was this character that he had. You know, kind
bullshit.
of made up in his mind when he was talking to the lady about writing the book.
Oh, the screenplay they were working on. Yeah.
You think there's any chance that was? I mean, he was hooking up with that lady, right? I mean,
Quite possibly.
A great part of it is he is talking. He's doing his first interviews. And he's going
Yeah.
through. You know, I found this. And they go back and they say. Then they found the editor or that magazine editor comes to Johnny Shapiro and says
Shapiro.
and say, I know I couldn't think of which one it was.
Shapiro
Goes to Shapiro, tells him, he goes, you know, I think this guy's a bad guy. We've heard this. And Shapiro goes, oh yeah, well we think he planted the glove. And then they start going back through the files and they go to Furman to interview him and he goes, yeah, I had some bad years, but I came out of that. And I was like, oh fuck, so it's basically true.
So the part we saw when they have him on the stand,
Furman, yeah.
and Furman's decided that he's going to answer, I plead the fifth to every question.
Had to.
Well, they talk about the decision for Furman when they come back and they say, have you ever manufactured, or I forget the exact word,
They ever
last
planted
question.
evidence.
but they ask about planting the evidence, and he could have said no there. He could have, and they talk
No,
about
he
his
couldn't have.
decision not, he could have, yes. I mean,
But then he would have had to answer more questions. Once you plead the fifth, you are stuck pleading the fifth. You can't answer one question and say, I plead the fifth.
So
then I plead the
did you not, what I'm saying, though, is did you not hear the part when they said,
No.
That's when you come out and you say, they talked about how catastrophic it was that he did not defend himself and say, that is a disgusting question for you to ask me. No, I have never planted
It was
evidence.
one of the guys in the police force that says, you should have been emotional, said not do that.
Yes.
But he was wrong.
Who was wrong?
That police chief,
Well-
or whatever he was.
He was wrong in the context of getting up there and pleading the fifth. But that's when they were
once
given
you start-
one more question. When Ito said one more
And
question,
that's the
and they
thing,
went
said-
back.
So why
and-
would it open up more questioning then?
What do you mean?
When they say the one more question thing, they come back and they say, have you ever manufactured evidence?
Before that happens, the prosecutors
'Cause this is right when I walked in.
They object because they say any more questioning would just be for show. And Ito says, "I'll allow this
One
last
more.
question." He goes, "Have you ever manufactured evidence?" And he said,
They
"No."
huddled and they came back, and in that moment, that
It
is
was
when
to-
I
it was
believe.
to get that out there.
I know
so he
that.
pleads the fifth.
So if he wouldn't have pled the fifth, it would have opened up a whole. Then would have had to have led to further questions.
Oh, they could have destroyed him even further, but it was enough. The fact that they thought to ask that question, have you ever planted evidence, knowing that he was going to say, well,
Did they say whose idea it was to ask?
Yes, F. Lee Bailey's.
It was Bailey's.
Yeah.
So we get through that whole thing. But then you get to what his life became after that.
Oh, my God.
I forgot about the OJ,
Craziness.
the punked OJ that he was doing to people. You just got juiced. And the strippers
He's out on the street
pay-per-view
selling a bag of
special,
oranges.
and
What?
all
Yes.
this bullshit. It was like a pay-per-view that you wouldn't have even heard of.
For what?
Just him.
Just him talking. Sort of, because when they were going to do the book, if I
OJ
did it,
reality TV.
if I did it, I mean, he owed $33 million.
To the families?
Yeah, after the civil case. And
Did you tell me he made $3 million while in prison from people bringing in
he was signing in prison during the trial.
They
bringing
showed
in
his-
numbers?
They showed what he did, yeah.
and they were taking apart footballs? Tony told me, and it's
Taking apart
You
footballs.
tell them because you can tell it better.
No,
I'm just
you're
telling you
dead on the
second
money,
hand.
man. You got it. I mean, they were
They were
taking.
unstitching
Yep.
a panel of a football, bringing them in, having them sign them.
Okay, so you know how
And then
football's
restitching.
brown?
I get how this works.
No. But they make the special ones that have like a white part.
Sure.
And they put his picture on it or whatever, and they put Heisman.
Oh, you're
Trophy winner.
talking about the screen print that they put on there or whatever.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know it was those.
Yeah. So he'd sign that, and then who are the other? Did Marcus Allen win?
Marcus
at USC?
Allen, Charles White, and I can't remember the other
Now,
FC guy.
did they know that OJ was going to be signing those two, or was that?
No, they're already signed by Allen.
That's what I was
White
going
and
to
the other
say.
guy.
So they, wow.
Nice value add.
Boy, and they also went into Nicole Simpson.
They also went in their thing with Marcus.
Boy, she was fucking Marcus Allen.
Whoa, what?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
When?
Apparently, while they were married.
Oh,
Which Marcus Allen, Chiefs or
Chiefs. Well, no. At the time,
He would have probably been with the Chiefs, 92?
Chiefs. Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I think
But
that's
he lived out in L.A., so probably
They all
them
lived, yeah,
too.
yeah.
So he was like
when?
fixated on that because it was like a young version of him. So that
plus the guy.
Oh, I have to watch that last.
The owner of the
episode.
restaurant that they had dinner at the night of the crime was also a significant other.
Mm.
And here's what I did not know. This guy, a young version, because you see the older guy, and he's talking and he's reliving what happened. They show a picture of him. He looks like Ronald Goldman.
a little bit.
Dun, dun, dun.
He looks like Goldman. Then the bombshell that dropped is really his agent. When his agent goes, "What happened?" And I know what you told AC.
You gonna break this on him right now?
No, I think we're going to tease him with it.
Okay.
And at that point,
So they're saying he pretty much admitted.
no,
maybe.
no, there's still a gray area here that I can't quite reconcile.
What part is that? 5 or 4? That's 5.
I think 5.
that's
It's
the
5.
beginning of 5.
Yeah,
You need to watch 2, 3, 4, and 5 just to
just mash them all
telling
together.
you.
At what point did the Thrakis come in on this? The Thrakis?
Third episode.
Yeah, and then
Season 2.
Marions.
right.
So did they talk about her drug use? Because I remember that was a big thing.
They treat Nicole really pretty fairly
Until
they don't bash you. Here's what they don't do. They don't bash you over the head with her sex life. But
they
they
bring it
certainly, if you're paying attention, they put her diary entries on screen, and they have other things.
So how
that
does it
go
come out about Marcus Allen then?
in videotape confessions and diaries and
Marcus Allen admits. That
No, Marcus Allen lies in a deposition.
He was
straight
deposed. Yeah, he was
Up.
deposed.
He lies straight up. In
He
the
said, "I'm
civil
not
de-
going to answer."
So who
any
said they were?
questions."
Civil
Who
death.
said they were?
OJ's on tape.
So he knew.
She wrote it. I mean,
Yeah, and she's got it in her diary. And the
Was
way
she in love
Marcus-
with him though? I mean, like was,
I don't know.
No,
I think
well, it's hard to know.
They
I- It's a
really didn't.
complicated
They really
relationship.
didn't. She was known for giving people the Brentwood welcome and
the
stuff.
Brentwood hello.
Yeah, the Brentwood hello.
And they don't touch
Must
on that.
explain that.
That's when you
What do
get
you
a.
mean?
That's when you move into town and you get a blowjob from old Nicole. That's what. That's what. Faye
Or
Resnick.
Faye
wrote.
Resnick.
Yeah.
And Faye Resnick is mentioned because OJ keeps going on, or he doesn't keep going on, but there are references on camera, taped the day that he got out, yelling at Gil Garcetti on TV, who was the district attorney for L.A. at the time.
Yeah.
Saying, you never wanted to go after who was giving Faye all these drugs. Faye Resnick, who's not in this documentary. She's a big player.
And that's what I was going to say, though.
She was, but she wasn't.
But in the end, pretty much well known that, was it the Kardashian lady? Was it Kris Kardashian, Faye Resnick? Weren't they like big cokeheads or not?
The way it's made.
Yeah,
that's been.
There's drug use there.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like big time though. Like they're big partiers. They did that.
They were certainly big.
Everybody
partiers.
was.
Everybody
OJ.
That's what I'm saying. Like at that time. So I mean, like it's not. It's taken out of context to the way things are now, because it was late '80s, early '90s. I mean,
it was nothing.
Yeah, I mean, cocaine was really in vogue. So
especially
in
with
LA.
especially with the rich. I mean,
they were with the
drug
rich.
of privilege.
You're in one of the best areas of Los Angeles.
So who was selling the drugs then? When you say that they bring up, you never want to go after who was selling the drugs.
And they allude to it, but you don't get an answer.
Oh, well.
You certainly don't get an answer.
So they don't drop who you. I mean,
no, because if they drop any bombshells, they're going to be liable.
Now, fast forward. So he goes back and he comes up with the book deal, the If I Did It. Remember that? Okay. Small thing that I didn't know. So they find out he's going to do this book with, what's her name? Can't think of it.
She's a reporter or a journalist from, is it Esquire or The New Yorker?
Yeah, but who's the big book gal in that?
Judith Regan.
Judith Regan, thank you. So they get this together. That's going to happen. The Goldmans find out about it. They don't want him to get all this money from it. The Goldmans bought the rights to that book.
They got it.
So they made the money off that, off their own son's death.
Better than OJ making it.
They were just trying to get the. Yeah, I mean, it's twisted and shit.
Somebody's going to make money.
Shut the book down.
Well, the Browns didn't. Apparently, the Browns didn't want any part of that, but the Goldmans did.
The Goldmans are the only ones that sued in the civil case.
No, it was a joint. It was the Browns.
Was it?
Yeah, the Brown family did sue for wrongful death.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it 33 million total or 33 that he owed?
33 total.
So the Goldmans and were just trying to get theirs.
Yeah, because in the meantime, and now here, because memorabilia. Now imagine this, Tio.
This
blows my mind. In the meantime, while the civil case is going on, they are unloading the Rockingham estate and sending all of the real memorabilia, not things OJ signed at a card show. I mean the Heisman, the jerseys,
jock straps.
Yes. Whatever it may be.
Good stuff.
And they're sending them all across California into storage units. So that when when the court orders, the items to be collected and sold, that they're not in the house.
Yeah.
They basically got the house.
Wow.
Tore the sumbitch down.
And the agent, he had the stuff. Guy named Mike Gilbert. And then you get to this bizarre.
Didn't they steal that from him or not?
Well, define steal here.
Did he owe him money and the guy decided to keep him?
Mike Gilbert had not been paid, and he's like, I'm taking things for my compensation. Huh. I don't know if that's theft. I don't know what it is.
But I'm doing it.
And he did it. And then, which we all assumed, he gets in trouble in Vegas over going in and getting his property.
No.
Yeah, not his property at all. In fact, none of that is in Vegas. It's just a bunch of muckety-muck memorabilia people.
Muckety-muck.
Yeah, because they're low lives.
It's one guy telling another guy that he's got his stuff, and it turns out it's a bunch of shit OJ signed that he knew he was signing. It's none of that.
So was he set up there then? I mean,
it sure looks like
he
it.
He walks in, his buddy's got a gun. He
so
flashes
did his buddy set him up or not?
You think he said, in the interview, he said, and excuse my language, but fuck OJ. I'm not going to jail for OJ.
Everyone
they all copped a deal.
They all copped a deal. They turned states right away.
So
that's why he got the 20?
No, it gets even better.
33, exactly.
He got 33
on the
date that he was found not guilty.
Oh, wow.
33 years.
Where was the courtroom?
33 million.
Nevada, Las Vegas. And he is now in a correctional facility in southern Nevada.
Palace Stations Casino, is that where the robbery was at?
I believe so.
Ooh, I'd have to see it again.
The Fertitas own that.
Yeah.
That's one of their casinos.
So the Fertitas set up OJ. Jesus. Somebody get us. Are we live?
Tweet that out.
That is where the UFC stemmed from.
Tweet that out.
BoobTube.
BoobTube.
But they have audio of that crew going into the room, and it is a clusterfuck of the unimaginable degree. And the fact that he said nobody is leaving this room,
That's what got him
put kidnapping on it, 2 counts, and
Did OJ think there was other stuff there?
Yes.
Did think
he
it's-
was duped. Yes,
so he thought
I think he thought his Heisman was in the room.
His
All right.
jerseys or the ones that he had.
He thought
keeping for
real
himself.
personal effects were in
Okay,
the room,
okay.
and there's not. It's shit that he signed at a card
It's
show.
Joe Montana stuff. Who's the other? They said
Joe
something about Joe
Montana.
Montana.
It's stuff of value.
It's a
but
bunch of cards signed.
Nothing
just
big.
nothing.
Just grab
No, no.
Game of Thrones regalia.
Yes.
Literally.
No, there would have been Game of Thrones merchandise that was worth more than what they were going after at that point.
Wow.
Because it really was Pete Rose.
Pete Rose. Yes, you're right. Very good.
Interesting.
So
He got-
Pete Rose, the Fertittas, and OJ. I think I got the.
Yeah, they stole a bunch of stuff.
You
Now
need to
OJ's
sit
in
down,
prison.
turn your phone off.
They were
and
Ocean's
watch
11. Is that where we're?
Yep.
It was an Ocean's 11 type plot to do this. And because once the guy had the gun, even though OJ didn't have a gun,
Who's
And they
doing the
all-
most time?
oh OJ, none of the there's
Isn't that fun?
one other guy did some time. He's long out.
all out.
That's
Everybody.
what you get, OJ. I hope you're listening.
They
Yeah,
nailed
juice.
him. They nailed him.
The capital juice.
Juicy.
Then the judge sits there and sips a big gulp and sentences.
Just like you did. Yes.
I know.
The big gulp.
And she loved it too because she bounces up onto her.
She was looking for a career. She's a fucking bitch.
She was playing to the camera. Oh, it was incredible. It is so well done. Marsha Clark in the sit down shots that she has.
She
'Cause
looked
you
like
remarked how she looks.
She looks like she's in better health now than she was then.
I think she probably is in better health because you can say this person doesn't look like they have the weight of the world.
I saw
on
the
them.
newspaper or it was a magazine. I mean, just showing the time, saying that she's a bad mom for how much she was working. I mean, like, just unreal.
Bottom line of that, OJ came out looking like a not good guy. I got a different view on him when they described how he killed her, and then Goldman walked up and basically
So she was dead before Goldman
No
got
witnesses.
there?
Most likely.
Oh, wow.
he cut
So-
her head off.
In
well,
all
after.
effect. In all effect.
Yeah, stabbed him in the gut, so he basically bled and just.
Yeah.
I saw some of the crime scene pictures. I didn't see
was
like
horrifying.
No
Oh my
screen
God, that was the other thing. They showed the crimes. I had never seen the neck
It's horrifying.
on.
Horrifying.
And
Did it show everything
just
out of it?
Popped.
Yeah. What do they call it? The Colombian necktie?
It was, yeah. I mean,
Holy shit!
Oh, I got to get some Google going on.
I
Here
mean,
we go.
it's remarkable.
Lugal.
It's and I'm still fuzzy as to the actual. God, I don't want to spoil this for you.
Yeah,
Just,
don't.
I'm going to watch it, but go ahead. I'm going to watch it regardless.
son of a bitch.
There is still this story has still not been told in its complete entirety. I'm not saying that culpability doesn't lie with O.J. Simpson.
But didn't
It
OJ
does.
say that if I were to do it, I didn't do it by myself? Wasn't
Yes.
there? So, I mean,
Yes.
like, that's
But he
the-
did that to fuck with people. You got to watch it.
You got to watch it. Draw your own conclusion because the conclusion I drew is something I had never imagined happening before, and I can see it happening after you watch the whole thing. Maybe he wasn't as premeditated as people believed, but he went over there in a mood, and the circumstances that then transpired.
Just tell me.
Bam.
This is
No. Just watch it.
Just watch it.
Just watch it.
okay.
It'll be worth it.
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, like, whether you guys tell me, I'm gonna watch the show.
It'll be no. I want an unfiltered, so we
Yeah.
can talk about this again. I want an unfiltered sense
Yeah.
of
What else we
what
got?
you took away from it. Two topics before we get out of here for this. We were at the College World Series. It was great. I loved it. The level of baseball in college, fellas, that's only about a click off of Major League, and the difference is velocity and the speed of the players. The quality of play, stunningly good. But you mentioned something though, because you're on Corey's kind of on fire about things to watch. I've had this on my to watch list for a while.
Good job.
This Netflix, and it came up in my Netflix queue, and I kept passing over it, Corey. But you hit it, and I've been meaning to watch it. But it's the Resurrection of Jake Roberts on Netflix.
And it's
Jake the Snake Roberts,
and it's-
for those of you at home.
it's fantastic. Have you finished it?
Yeah.
I don't know how this guy survived what he was going through, because this goes back to Beyond the Mat when they made that in '99.
That was great.
But
dude.
the
That
filming
movie
was from
awesome.
90 whatever though.
97 through 99.
Because it was the Bret Hart that was on.
Yeah,
it,
that's
right?
what I mean.
So,
97. So
yeah.
late 97 through 99, and they tricked him and everything else. Who knows? He was probably in an altered state. But what this guy, and it's funny what addiction does to these guys. You throw your body around and
You have a
everybody.
painkiller addiction?
Oh my!
Yeah,
who,
Everything.
who doesn't?
Every crack. He
Okay.
he was doing he was going to, and beyond the mat, like he was wrestling for crack cocaine.
Yeah. And he showed up, and that's kind of how they started it. How he showed up in an altered state at another event, and he was just, it was.
And what's sad is to your point, they show up and they pull up and this is his house.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's right off the highway, and it's like this little beat up
Gravel
place.
road.
Like Corey and I watched the beginning of it together, and I told Corey, I was like, man, like it's sad because
Oh, we finished it together.
yeah,
that's right.
what I was gonna say. I couldn't remember. So they show his walls, and he's got autographed magazines of himself on his walls. From,
I don't
like,
know if they were autographed.
they were. They might not have been. You're
watch it
right.
again.
But the thing of it is like the guy clear, and it's a lot of those guys, and it's kind of back to that book I was reading about Jay Williams, how you let go of what you were when you were someone that mattered, and you know, no matter what it is, your star is going to fade.
Sure.
And this guy, you know, he just was never able to let go of it. And through the show, his goal, what he wants out of all this, is to get better so he can wrestle again in WWF or WWE. He wanted to be in the Royal Rumble. And it's just like, dude, like, I mean, it's just fascinating. But what year was it? Because he was still wrestling. He was going around doing these independent
is.
shows
Still is.
that you would see like at the KC Hall in your local small town. And he shows up hammered. Hammered to where he can barely function.
Inebriated.
He gets in the ring to where he can hardly get his leg over. And the guy's wrestling, comes up, starts hitting him, and he's just not doing anything because he's just out of it.
He's no selling basically.
Just beyond no. I mean, like it's just
Yeah,
like
he can't sell.
yeah.
He's not even in the match.
So
Yeah.
the guy like pins him, rolls him over, pins him. He's like, "You're a piece of shit," going on and on. The wrestler, the promoter comes out and he's like, "Let me give you or just DDT me. Just give me a DDT. Like we'll be fine. Take the money." And he's so hammered he can't
even
comprehend
DDT
it.
guy? Wow.
So there's kids there, and like this is the whole reason. Like the show was around Jake Roberts pretty much, and he just pulls his junk out and just starts shaking it at the crowd.
Pulls his dick out in the middle.
Yes, with
Classy
kids there.
move.
Pulls.
That's the start of the movie.
Yes, it was unreal.
And it only
I'm
goes
watching this
down.
tonight.
Only goes downhill.
It
from
only
there.
goes uphill from there. But in another thing, and one, we out of this, Diamond Dallas Page is a saint for what he's done.
He
for
works with a
himself
lot of-
and Scott
yeah.
Hall.
Scott Hall, I was going to say, yeah.
What
DDP Yoga is what it is, and they do a ton of promoting on podcasts.
Yeah, they do.
Huge.
what I took
Huge
from it the most is Jake Roberts can't get out of wrestler mode. I don't know if you haven't watched wrestling, you don't understand. So Jake Roberts never yelled. Jake Roberts always talked like this, talked into the mic, talked to you, talked low,
Undertaker,
getting to the
when I
point.
get my chance in
Yeah.
the ring.
You know what I mean?
Death.
That, but everything he does, anytime he has a drink and falls off the wagon, anytime he gets
What about when
upset and cries.
he leaves, like they can't find him, or something happens? Some guy comes back and he's like, Jake's at the airport with no shoes.
Yeah.
And they get there and they're like, "Come on, you're coming back." And he's like, "Fuck you,
Yeah.
man. I don't know." What. And he's clearly had drinks. Then it's just your classic thing.
Everything.
I only had one.
Everything he talks, every time he talks to anybody, it's a promo style.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like when they did the stand-up interviews,
Yeah.
everything's a promo.
That's
Brother,
fucking cool,
it's
in my opinion.
it's really
When
not
he's talking-
cool.
when
Like
he's
even
talking
when
to
he's
DDP.
ordering Taco Bell, it's like Mean Gene is behind the counter taking
and
the
Damien
order.
would like a chimichanga.
It was just, yeah. No, I mean, seriously, he would just go into promo mode every time he talked. He broke down. I mean, I'm sure that he was scarred as a child from what we watched.
his Haystack what was his name? Haystack
His father
Roberts?
was Grizzly Smith.
Grizzly Smith. Not
Yeah,
Haystack, sorry.
who did all the booking down in WCW. He did all the booking before that in Mid-South, and he's scarred by that. He's just I feel bad for him. I feel
Well, he says he
for
never
him.
thought he was good enough for his dad. I mean, like that was the thing. Like he tried
And that
to-
goes back to the beyond the mat thing. It's
Yeah.
just it.
And didn't his stepmom molest him? He said or something.
From what he said, and which would scar you, I assume.
Yeah, he said that she'd come in and I mean, like, it's really good, but I mean, the guy dealt with some shit, man.
What he took Jake Roberts from and Scott Hall, who was just as bad, if not worse. These guys were so hooked on painkillers,
They would be dead.
alcohol, just a combination. They could barely fucking move.
Scott Hall was just the worst.
And
man.
these guys, like, they would be to the point to where it was just a cocktail. They talked about when these guys used to travel, they would just throw pills in a bag and just reach in and just take they just take them out and chew them. And they'd be like, it was the
gross.
craziest thing because we just never know what would happen.
Yeah.
We didn't know if we got 6 oxycodone and 3 this or 4 perks and 3 Vikes and 7 Xanax or Somas. Like they just said, like
That's hardcore.
I mean, and then they would drink
Surprised
on top
any of
of
them are
that,
still alive.
and then drive.
Drink heavily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's why so many of them are dead.
And
I
you-
mean, like,
and I was-
there's
yeah.
no secret to why these dudes are dead.
And they should
so
both
young.
be dead. Scott Hall and Jake Roberts should be dead.
My mind is just splitting, like thinking about doing that. You know, when you really tie one on anyway, you start to become detached from yourself. I can't imagine at that level,
Yeah.
and then mix in pain on top of it.
And those guys would
yeah.
do that, and they blame WWE for letting that environment set in. If you ever notice, they've had 2 people die on their watch: Eddie Guerrero,
Owen Hart.
but Brian Pillman was the one.
And
one
Benoit
else.
was
I would argue Chris
contracted.
Benoit.
Oh yeah, so 4, but Owen Hart fell from the roof. So
Timber,
really
yeah.
3 that
Yeah.
passed away from. And Eddie Guerrero didn't die from an overdose; he had a heart
Heart
attack
attack.
from previous years of this. But these guys get away from WWE, and that's when it really
Well,
gets.
I read something last night. So Sunny, who was like the darling of wrestling in the early '90s, she was like the first.
She was kind of a bitch when she first came around, in my opinion, because she was with Chris Candido.
No, but what I'm saying though, she was
body
that's what I'm saying, but
at you! Give me some.
She was like the first, like one that was on magazine covers,
True,
and
true.
they,
She was
like,
hot.
they
the original
Sure.
diva.
yeah. So she did a porn, like she's just
Oh.
had this huge following from Grace, but she's had the same thing, addiction. So she gets offered
Her old man
250.
died of drugs, didn't Chris Candido die?
Was that what it was?
He had an infection. He went in for a
so he
routine
wasn't a drug
surgery.
guy?
Yeah, he was a drug guy.
He was, but he didn't die.
Yeah,
Everybody
but, and that's the point. Like all
He
of them
died
were,
in
but
a
she-
routine surgery. I think on his back, maybe his leg.
But she,
blood clot in his leg, something.
She did a porn a few months ago. Like that was. A
I
big
love
story.
that
She did this
phrase.
Porn. What?
Did a porn.
Well, she did. She did a porn, and it was like this huge. She got paid a lot of money. and
She
it
did
was-
a pornography video
There you go. Throw it out there.
in HD.
She did an adult film.
Highly dicked.
So
No, I'm saying I just like that phrase. She did a porn.
So she
Like porn is a verb.
So she
It is.
Yeah.
is in. So right now
Porn you.
she hasn't. When was the last time she was a part of WWF? WWF.
Relevant?
Yeah.
I mean, like involved a
anytime she-
performer.
Like storyline wise?
No.
Or like they brought her in for a guest?
She did. She did the WrestleMania. But when was the last time she was like a contracted?
Mid
Employee.
1998, she was
Yeah.
doing the
World
LOE
War-
2000
okay.
thing.
So here's the thing with this. Right now, she is in WWE. They have this the way they're paying for rehab for all these
They're
wrestlers.
really good about that,
No matter
actually.
what,
They have to be.
$40,000 a month. She comes out and she says she's been sober for 60 days.
90.
90 days. And they're saying, well, WWE's had her in a $40,000 a month rehab. It's like the big thing is like all these wrestlers live like shit. They've all, not most of them weren't smart with their money and all this. Like, why wouldn't you just say, oh, hey, I got a problem. Send me to rehab so you can just have this extended
Because
vacation.
then they let you out.
And they
Yeah.
don't think you have a problem and you can't earn.
Yeah.
While you're supposed
Well,
to be
a lot
on the
of 'em-
road in your
yeah.
little shitty Camry going.
No, I'm talking about the old dudes that like,
Biloxi
well, I
to-
guess if you're driving around doing indie show to indie show.
A lot of people want to watch the train wreck.
Who's the champ now?
Now it's
Who cares?
Dean. So the Shield, this just happened Sunday night. The Shield, Dean Ambrose cashed in Money in the Bank and beat Seth Rollins, which
Oh my god!
all 3 members of the Shield held the WWE title.
Was
in
Vic
one
Mackey
night.
there?
Vic Mackey was not there.
Not involved. So it was just Shane. Or
Michael
anyone.
Jace wasn't there either.
Well,
So-
he's previously.
Well, he's got some. Yeah.
the internet wrestling crowd.
Yes.
they got their darling won it.
Dude, the internet wrestling crowd is the best. Because they are so in the know. Just ask them.
Is that? And I was going to ask you guys this. So the internet blew up in what 90?
96, 97, I would say.
But
That's
they
what
said
changed.
wrestling.
That's what changed wrestling.
I remember going to WrestleZone in like 97, WrestleZone.com, and
it was like
during
an
the
AOL
NWO
chat
original
room?
days, and
website probably.
it was. They had forums, they had a chat room.
Okay.
It was a news site. It was one of the first,
rumor
behind the
site.
scenes
Yeah,
type
okay.
of
Dirt sheet like thing.
right.
But it's ruined me on. I don't even watch the shows anymore. I read.
That's how I do. Well, not anymore. I don't even bother reading.
Oh yeah, you do.
But
For
I
the
like
first few
this.
years after I quit watching, I'd hit WrestleZone every Tuesday. I'd read what happened on Raw.
I know.
I like this Dean Ambrose character though.
You like him?
I like the fact that he doesn't have there's no real bit there.
Oh, that's a
Looks
whole.
like a
It's
meth
it's a
addict.
bit though.
I know,
That's
but
the thing.
the fact that the bit is
He's like
that it's not a bit, it's like a meta
He's
to
like
me.
he's like a poor man's
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah, but he's just a Hoosier
with a-
redneck who looks like he shows up at the show. He doesn't have to put on any costume. He's showing up doing.
But he's like with a dash of he's just a ripoff of these gimmicks, and he sucks. Like, I'll just say it, he sucks.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy
He's
for
not-
him as a performer
he's not
because he's paid his
entertaining.
dues. He's done a
Yeah,
lot.
Whatever. They all pay.
Paid
the
his
dues.
dues.
Not
85
everybody
players.
does. You're telling me fucking Roman Reigns?
yeah,
He's been in wrestling
Hey.
5 years.
Hey, but he's The Rock's cousin, so he's
He's
got that
fine.
going
He's
for him.
more
6 or 7.
Who's more believable?
Seth Rollins.
I just
Roman
like
Reigns. I mean, the thing with wrestling is when you're a kid, you watch it, and all these guys were just big, jacked up dudes, and now they
this
can't.
is just a
CM Punk
dude.
They
pussies,
can't take
man.
him. That's the thing. Like the
Like Corey's side. Like we
the
believe that's going on. Come on.
these
Corey's
the-
kicking no one's ass.
the
Has there
internet-
been a champ with a man bun?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns.
Oh,
Chris Jericho.
yeah.
So
Bringing heat.
the internet wrestling community, these guys pick out their darling and they just shit all over whoever it is, unless it's their guys that they like. And Daniel Bryan and Dean Ambrose have been like the two guys that have benefited from this, and neither
Didn't
one
Daniel
of them.
Bryan have
You
to
didn't like
retire,
Daniel
though?
Bryan?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. I'm
he
just
did
saying he
retire,
benefited
yeah.
from it, but he wasn't a believable champ to me.
But they also pick guys that are really good in the ring, like Cesaro.
Kevin Owens. No, there's some guys I like.
Kevin Owens. I mean,
Does Ambrose suck in the ring?
He's all right.
I thought his deal was he just comes in, takes a ton of punishment, and then.
he just some of his stuff's kind of flaky.
Yeah.
But that's the act,
Fuck.
right?
I guess.
Nah, being flaky is not part of the act.
No, but I tell you
So
what,
it's
his
real?
his girlfriend is Renee Young. So
Yeah, she's
God bless him for that.
He
one.
does well there.
But the IWC, I always try to form my own opinion. Sometimes I feel like I read what people say, and I'm like, oh, you know what, that kind of makes sense. But it's tough not to watch it and then think your own thoughts, just because there's so much shit on the internet.
And what they do, I mean, like they're known
true.
for just burying people. Like they just, if they don't want someone to get over and become this,
Yep.
they just
Roman Reigns is
Yeah.
number one.
How
Well,
much are
Cena, they hate
how much-
Cena too.
How much? I hate Cena,
I agree.
but how much are they listened to by the powers that be?
They don't. I mean,
I don't know.
More times than not, they don't. I mean, they didn't want to give Daniel Bryan anything, and they just had to eventually.
Triple H trolls the shit out of him. I mean, he's done it on TV before. I mean, they have guys that troll. I mean, what was Zack Ryder? He was the IWC champion.
Yeah.
That was 6 or 7
The
years ago.
IWC champion.
Just because they thought he wasn't getting a break. I
Well, and he did
don't
this-
know what they ever saw
He
in
did this
him.
YouTube show that he made his own YouTube
Long
show.
Island
that-
Ice Z, but
I like Zach Gowen if we're talking about Zach's.
Something just happened with
I
him.
like Zach
one leg.
Galifianakis.
He did an interview.
No, he was a wrestler, though, Zach Gowen.
Yeah, he had one leg.
Yeah.
Like a legit one leg he wrestled.
Wow. But what's coming up, if you are not a wrestling fan, The Shield is going to have a triple threat match. And that's what they've been
Claudette's going to get in the way as usual.
building towards. Well, they're going to split the brands, and it's going to be Raw is live on Monday, SmackDown is live on
Oh,
Tuesday.
for the seventh time they've did that?
on the same network. They've never done this.
on the same network. That's the difference.
No,
Shit, it's not.
SmackDown was never
It's
live.
not
Never
UPN
live.
or in fucking USA or whatever it used to be.
fuck UPN.
CW.
Remember
So-
UPN? Couldn't
so-
get that channel.
What they turn UPN into? When they started playing SmackDown.
WB.
WB.
Yeah.
CW11?
What was
Well,
it when they had
that's-
SmackDown on it though?
Don't know.
I don't know. I'm killing there.
I can't think of what it
know.
was.
They really
It went-
did. It was horrible.
But yeah, so there's
That's the WB.
So what happens is, and then we kind of talked about it last week, but Brock Lesnar, I mean, like he's coming back at at SummerSlam is like the big thing they've said.
He's gonna come back and kick the fuck out of somebody.
So not if he gets knocked. So here's the thing.
Disagree.
No,
You think the
so-
UFC
no.
bot will have an effect?
If he gets knocked out, he'll come back even more as a heel.
If he
Because it
gets-
wasn't his fault. He was cheated. That's the way.
So
you
here's
look
my
at it.
thing though. If he
That's
gets
what we said
knocked
last week.
out and there's something wrong with him, I wonder what type of physicals WWE has in place for him to be able to wrestle if he's concussed, getting knocked out a month before, and I guess it's safe to say Hunt's not going to break his arm or anything because he's not much of a submission guy.
What did Lesnar get? His blue belt in jiu-jitsu? But is it just? I thought it was a BBW belt.
Well,
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, BJJ is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But
are you gonna do the name?
It's the first belt basically, other than white belt in jiu-jitsu. They have what? Is it white, blue, purple, brown,
I can't
and
even
black?
keep them on. I mean,
And they only got 4 real belts.
Yeah.
We got to talk wrestling today. I'm pretty happy.
Yours should be.
Yay!
Should be. I'm just happy my man.
And I know even more.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Stone sleeping.
Stone is sleep.
We put our intern to sleep.
With wrestling?
Mission accomplished.
Their internet. There's our
Mission
intern. He's passed out.
accomplished. All right, folks, don't forget, check us out at notsofastpodcast.com. And when you're also checking out lineupmedia.fm shows, don't forget, even though that it's the summertime,
ITO.
Chasing Pucks with Panger still brings you all your NHL hockey news throughout the summer. That's Kelly Chase, Darren Pang. They focus a lot of in-depth interviews, what's happening all around the NHL. Just because they're St. Louis Blues broadcasters, don't just expect a St. Louis Blues show. They cover the entire league. And plus, let's just cut to the chase. There aren't 2 characters.
Cut to the chase.
Yeah, see what I did there?
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Blues schedule got announced today, by the way.
Do that in your announcer voice.
Cut to the chase with the Chase and Panger podcast.
NHL.
Coming to you
on NHLpodcast.com, Facebook.com/NHL show, and Twitter. Follow them at NHLshow.com. All right, that'll do it for us this week, boys.
See y'all later.
This is Nikita Kola signing off, Magna TA. I am coming for you, United States Championship, and taking it to the Kremlin. Ric Flair, you won me.
Beautiful.
Oy vey.
Sauce. That's good. Yo, welcome back.
Oh, that's good. That's grand.
What you think of the show? Last part, anyway. Oh, we're still streaming.